Two of the best soccer programs in Connecticut go head-to-head tonight for the FCIAC title. Staples entered the playoffs as an underdog, but they showed they could go all the way, knocking off Greenwich and New Canaan to reach the final. Trumbull finished the season on top of the Western Division and defeated the number 3 seed, the Darien Blue Wave, in the semis. The 2011 FCIAC Championship is next, and it's only on MSG Varsity. Championship Friday under the lights in Fairfield County. One team hoping to win its 4th straight FCIAC crown, the other hoping this is the year they break through against Staples. Tonight at Fairfield-Ludlowe High School, it's Staples, it's Trumbull, and it's all for the title here on MSG Varsity. 2 months down, 1 game to go. Welcome everyone, I'm Ed Cohen, joined by Chad Cutler. Great to have you with us. Staples, they won 3 straight FCIAC titles. They beat Trumbull last year in the quarterfinals. And the Eagles tonight, hoping they can break through against the Wreckers.
Well, this is what it's all about, Ed. This is championship soccer. The goal each team set heading into this season, and it's been no disappointment. They've each played tremendously along the course of this year, and to get to this point, it hasn't been easy.
Let's take a look at the road here to the final. Staples, the number 4 seed in the semis against New Canaan. Final minutes, it was scoreless, and it was almost 1-0 New Canaan, but check out the D from Jacob Malowitz of Staples. It went to overtime, then penalty kicks, and there, Max Hoberman gets it done for Staples. But New Canaan came back. They answered. Why didn't they win? Because the goalkeeper, James Hickok, he was dynamite in this one for Staples, and this junior has carried the Wreckers all season long, Chad.
Well, he's an incredible player. There's no question about it. The junior, and the good thing about him, Ed, is he's got experience. He was there last year, and he shined. He was a big reason why they were FCIAC champions last year. But the bottom line is he sends chills down opposing players' spines when they take shots on him. He's so good. He's got that wingspan. He is a special kind of goaltender that every team wishes they had.
2 shutouts already in this FCIAC tournament for James Hickok. As for Trumbull, they're the number 2 seed in the semifinals. They face the 3rd seed, Darien. 34th minute, Matt O'Brien, he comes through for the Eagles. Look at number 17, 1-0 Trumbull, and they added to it later on. The forward, Andrew Stratton, in midair. Oh, he jumps to that ball. The header goes through. 3-1. It's Trumbull beating Darien, and that's why they're here in the final. But you can't forget the forward, Keith Bond.
Oh, Mr. Bond is special, and I'm not talking about James. This kid is dangerous when he's got the ball. Incredible offensive ability. He's one of those players that does not come around too often. And for Trumbull, their offensive attack, it revolves around what Keith does by the goal. It's going to be essential for him to get them pumped up early on.
10 goals for number 10, shades of 007 at times. We are ready. Should be a great one. The final in the FCIAC Boys Soccer Tournament. Staples and Trumbull coming up on MSG Varsity. Chilly night in Connecticut hasn't kept the soccer faithful away for the Wreckers and the Golden Eagles. This for an FCIAC championship. Let's meet the coach of Staples. He is a Staples grad, class of 1971, and he is Dan Wogue, 9th year at the helm of the Wreckers, the school from Westport, New York, Connecticut rather, and 3 consecutive FCIAC titles. Let's meet the starters for the Wreckers with 12 wins on the season. The goalie we mentioned, James Hickok, and the players in front of him, Jake Malowitz, Taylor McNair, and Alex Tonsberg. Midfielders, Dylan Evans, Steve Smith, Max Hoberman, Harry Birch, and Ben Root. Up front, David Hoffman and Dylan Hoy. As for Trumbull, head coach in his 7th year, the native of Italy, Sebastian Gangemi. 2006 coach champions with Staples, that his lone championship. The starters for the Eagles of Trumbull. Nick Weinstein's their goalie. In front of him, 4 defense players, John DeJesus, Tim Johnson, Shane Neary, and Adam Caron. In the middle, Matt O'Brien, Brian Dunn, Liam O'Sullivan, Anthony Teixeira. And up front, Keith Bond and Randy Stratton. And that's where, in some ways, this game is going to lie, how Keith Bond gets going for Trumbull. The weather tonight here in the Nutmeg State for this championship, FCIAC Boys Soccer. 45 degrees, you figure getting cooler as the night progresses, and a little bit of wind chill, but the good news, Chad, clear skies, and should make for some great soccer tonight.
Absolutely, you got to be thrilled about that, especially if you're one of these players. You know, it starts raining, that kind of changed the whole dimension of this game. But weather aside, these two teams, they've worked so hard to get here, and you know, they're going to be ready no matter what, I can promise you.
Staples, the navy blue and white. And away we go against Trumbull, wearing their white jerseys. They are the black and gold from right down I-95. It was funny, Sebastian Gangemi, the head coach of Trumbull, said we wanted to face Staples. Our styles are so similar. Physical, great defense, taking advantage of certain opportunities. And right now, it's Staples trying to center that ball, and it's kicked away by Trumbull. And it should be very interesting to see how physical this game becomes.
Well, you would expect it to be very physical. Two teams, big-time rivals. And you know, I think the good part about this is that the semifinals were just 2 days ago. They really haven't had that much time off to reflect on the success. I think that that'll kind of eliminate some of the nerves. Both of these teams, they'll be ready to go.
That is Keith Bond splitting two defenders. He's using the end line, and he's met immediately by number 5, Harry Birch, who just slows him down and kicks it out. But in that Bond rush, they get their first corner kick of the game.
Well, they get a corner kick here, but you get a little taste there of what Bond can do. His ball handling skills, unbelievable. This is going to be a key opportunity.
In the middle, and it's Nick Weinstein who steps up. That was actually Hickok for Staples. Wrong goalie, but the fact is we could be mentioning his name quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely. They're both tremendous goalies, and you're not wrong in that sense, but that's what it's all about. Both of these teams now, you get early scoring opportunities, knock those butterflies out and kind of see what happens. But you see early on the little header there. That's what Trumbull does. Andrew Stratton, watch out on those.
Staples trying to cross. It was steered away by the Trumbull defense. And it trickles out about 30 yards. On the far side, finally booted ahead by the Eagles. That brings out Hickok, and he's going to pick it up in his own box and roll it out to the outside for his teammate Jake Malowitz. And the great defensive play late in the contest against New Canaan in the semifinals.
Well, Malowitz is a special kind of player. Coach was telling us during the weekend just how smart this kid is. You know, one of the smartest guys on the team. And in fact, with Staples, almost everybody has a near perfect 4.0 GPA. That's pretty impressive. That kind of displays on the field with their decision making.
Hoberman centers in front, and Nick Weinstein stays with that deflection to scoop it up. He's a junior, hasn't started all year. He split time with Dan Bond, Keith's brother. But it's Weinstein who steps up right there.
Well, he comes in playing terrific soccer, and that's why he got this assignment today. This is one of those guys that, you know, you said he hasn't played every game all year, but he's maintained confidence, and Coach has a lot of confidence when he runs him out there.
Staples and Trumbull. They played to a 1-1 tie the first meeting, and here they are in early November for an FCIAC championship. Head into the box. No call. That was Stratton who knocked down the Staples player in the box. As a result, Trumbull scoops it up and now trying to work it ahead. Over 3 minutes gone by in this FCIAC championship game.
Well, Stratton's a big fella down there. He's the tallest guy on this team, 6'4", and that's what he's going to do. But there you see it, Nick Weinstein. This kid is very, very good, the junior. And one of the things that really separates him from the pack, the way he directs the traffic back there and kind of commands the defense where they should be going, and he's very good at what he does.
Throw in here for Trumbull as we look at Shea Neary. Trumbull with 13 wins on the season, 13-1-4, and the number 2 seed in the FCIAC tournament. Staples 12-2-4, so not too far behind. And they entered as the 4th seed, and they're here now trying to win their 4th consecutive title.
Well, they've been on fire. I mean, Trumbull's playing extremely well, and you saw it in their semifinal matchup over Darien. Pretty much outmatched them the entire time. Very good defensive unit to kind of play that standard 4-4-2 style, and everything rolls through their defense.
David Hoffman has a full head of steam, and as he gets to the outside, he's met by Adam Caron. You could see how physical he is on defense.
Adam Caron's a good player, 6'2", and he manages to have that quickness with him too. He closes in, knocks the ball out, and once again, defense on both of these sides
going to be key. Who's going to be able to capitalize off those big mistakes?
First corner opportunity for Staples. They have the in-swing here. Long shot to the far side, and Weinstein steps up, and he makes the stop.
And that's what he does. That's that aggressiveness. He'll jump out there, doesn't really think about the consequences, and in that situation, it works to your advantage, because as soon as you start thinking, that's when the mistakes are made.
Keith Bond jockeys for position. Sends it along. Center by Zach Chase, and steered away in the box. That was well played by the Staples defense. And Trumbull looking to reset right now. Another chip into the box, and offsides called on Liam O'Sullivan.
Well, you just get an idea there of what Trumbull likes to do. Everything kind of runs through Bond, and his sidekick, you could say, Anthony Teixeira. This kid is very good, a captain, plays that midfield position, but more of an offensive kind of guy. He's not going to drift back as much, but he can carry the team. If the situation calls for it, Mr. Teixeira can kind of lift his team emotionally.
Another player down, they play on. And we expect this one to get only more physical as the minutes roll on. Weinstein tiptoeing the end line, and he'll let it fly as we played just over 6 minutes. We're at Fairfield-Ludlowe High School, FCIAC championship game on MSG Varsity. Ed Cohen, Chad Cutler, it's great to be with you as we get ready to crown a champion here in 2011.
I think, Ed, for both of these teams, it's got to be so satisfying to be at this spot. All these teams, all these players, they play all year round. You know, there's no multi-sport athletes out here. It's soccer all the way. They play on South Central Club team and other ones in the area, so they're all too familiar with each other's styles, which makes this matchup that much better.
To the far side, Trumbull has something cooking. Into the box for O'Sullivan, headed once. Off a deflection and just wide, even as Hickok was closing in.
Well, Hickok almost had a hiccup on that one. That one almost went in the net, but Liam O'Sullivan, a primetime opportunity, and he just continues to improve every time out there. Coach told us he's one of those special kind of guys that, you don't know where his ceiling is, because every game he seems to get better in some facet.
Already a game of inches. That one oh so close. Joe Descanio, Jesus Zornoza, and Frank Soma, along with Frank Severo, your officials here this evening.
That was well done, and that's not rehearsed either. Those names, we've never seen them.
Hopefully we get a great game here tonight, and those officials playing a big part of it. Trumbull and Staples. The Eagles trying to get a rush going. At the edge of the box, Hickok was waiting for the ball to come to him as the player for Trumbull was closing in, and now the whistles fly everywhere. Hickok was just waiting out there as far as he could. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I think he kind of felt a little footsteps on this one. Was a bit too casual, and I can't see who it was, but almost capitalizing on that mistake for Trumbull.
Throw coming, it'll be for Trumbull. The Eagles, the #2 seed in this tournament, as we look at Shea Neary. He's someone on defense who could use both his right and his left foot. And this is a Trumbull team that really likes to push up, even from the back line.
Well, they do, and that speaks volumes for the amount of confidence Coach Gangemi has in his group of guys.
Here comes Keith Bond. Has some room to operate. Switches to the middle, and the shot deflected up and deflected out. But it leads to a corner kick for Trumbull. And you can see why this kid, Keith Bond, just might be the best in Fairfield County.
It's remarkable. When he gets you one-on-one, there's nothing you can do. But I'll tell you this, Alex Tonsberg comes up with an enormous play here, sacrificing himself, deflecting the ball. But that's what you got to do. You got to send swarms at Keith Bond to try and throw him off his game.
Second corner for Trumbull. Short post. Headed out. And then towards the backside. Hickok jumped up, but the header echoes out, and a goal kick coming up for Staples after some very good pressure from the Trumbull Eagles.
Well, the Golden Eagles, this is what they do. When they get those corner kicks, that's why they've been so successful. And again, Andrew Stratton down there, the big number 8, 6'4". He's gonna coming up with those headers. That's something Staples have got to key in on, try and eliminate his presence.
Kicked along by Jake Malowitz. Occupies so much space on defense for Staples, number 14. Controlled at midfield by Liam O'Sullivan. Great patience. And Trumbull using all sides right now. Here comes Staples after the takeaway. Run move, there's another, but wide of the net. And we could see just how quickly the sides can change in this matchup with two quick, aggressive teams.
Absolutely. These teams are good. I mean, there's no question now. You can tell already that these are not your ordinary teams, and just by the way, the ball handling skills and the passing. But the key is the defense. They're closing up those holes quickly, and so far, we got a scoreless game.
Harry Birch, number 5 in Navy for Staples. Big send left side. Trying to establish Keith Bond once again. Bond draws so much attention. He beats one man. Looking for the foul, won't get it.
This kid's remarkable. I mean, the ball handling skills, they're off the charts. He was surrounded there. Great defense by Max Haberman, but wasn't able to shake him. And that's going to be key for Max. If he can kind of zone in on Keith, throw him off his element, that's going to be good news for the Wreckers. Once again, Keith Bond, you can only talk about it so much, but to actually see it in action, that's what makes it special. And my goodness, that is beautiful.
Got to give Malowitz some credit too.
Oh, absolutely, he was all over it as well. But a good defensive unit. I mean, very sound, both of these teams. And Staples, it all goes through their defense.
Into the box, loose, and put on net, hits the post. Oh my! Offsides was the call, but wow, what an effort there by Trumbull, and they nearly cashed in.
Well, they did, and they are lucky that the offsides was called. How about Anthony Teixeira here as an opportunity, but just a little bit wide, hits the post. But that's the kind of thing that'll get you pumped up. Offsides or not, those are kind of scoring opportunities that make you think mentally, we could score on this team. What's the problem?
Trumbull, the two big opportunities so far. And Staples trying to reverse things right now as it's worked ahead by David Hoffman, number 20. And then kick back into the middle. That brings back number 5 for Trumbull, Zach Chase. He's a junior. He started, he's come off the bench. He's scored 5 goals on the year, a true scrapper. Bond, the big left foot. Will O'Sullivan get there? Drag tackle. Which way's it going? It's going to be a goal kick for Staples.
Once again, Jake Malowitz sacrificing his body, getting down to the turf, and that's what you need from this guy. He is about as physical as they come. He's not afraid to sacrifice his body, and he's just another one of those intelligent kids. He's getting looks at a lot of D3 schools, Unions looking at him, a couple others. This is definitely a collegiate soccer player.
Another whistle, this on Liam O'Sullivan, as he came too much with the body, going for the header against Max Hoberman. O'Sullivan, a junior. There's a reason they say he's tenacious.
Well, there is. This kid's very, very good. And he just seems to never get tired. Coach Gangemi told us this is one of those guys who can run back and forth the entire game, and fatigue never even enters his mind, and that's valuable for any team to have.
Fight for it in the middle. Zach Chase in pursuit, number 5 in white. Intercepts at midfield, and Trumbull trying to get something cooking. A couple of great chances, one in the box. Offsides as it hit the post.
Now, this is a Trumbull team now. Last time they were in this game, and back in 2006, it was against Staples. They were co-champs. They tied the game, and you better believe that's something that sticks in your mind. Coach, he rallied them together. He said, guys, listen, we haven't won this in a while, and the last time we did, we shared it with those guys.
Here in FCIAC play, you play the 2 overtimes. You don't go to PKs in the final. You might to get to the final. And there's a player down right now. That is Harry Birch, number 5 for Staples. And Ari, we've seen a very physical game, and Harry Birch is taking the brunt of it right now.
Harry Birch, a good player, a junior. He's a tough guy. He's used to making a lot of contact. Now, I did not see what happened to him, but you got to hope he's okay for them. He's a big part of what they do.
Junior, whose parents are English, she played on defense last year, and this team has evolved quite a bit at Staples. More of a midfield role right now. We're going to step aside from Fairfield, Connecticut. FCIAC boys soccer final, Staples and Trumbull. We'll see you on the other side here on MSG Varsity. Harry Birch up on his own strength. That's always a good thing to see. And now getting to that sideline to catch a rest.
Absolutely. That's exactly what you want to see. No limp. It looks like he's feeling good. You mentioned he was English, Ed. How about this one? I was talking to Coach during the week. He told me that Harry's parents, they're very into the English League soccer, the whole deal. And one thing we know about Dan Wogue is he's huge into international soccer. Yep. Huge. Knows everything. His parents, very impressed with Wogue's knowledge. Ended up, you know, becoming sort of friends with him.
Good recruiting. You pick up a good player, you develop a great relationship.
That's what it's all about.
On the foul. Kick coming for Staples on the ground. Oh, Weinstein stays with it all the way as everyone else fell for it.
That's gorgeous. Nick Weinstein there coming up with a big save. And that's the type of play that can kind of sneak up on a goaltender. You have a little break, a little break in action, and all of a sudden you're put to the test. But Nick Weinstein sprawling out, using those long arms, that big-time wingspan, and coming up with a big-time save for Trumbull.
Can they capitalize? Bond rushing to the outside. Gives up on the play, looking for another call, and the whistle doesn't come in. 15 minutes gone by. And, Chad, you have to wonder if the players on both sides need to get used to the fact that a lot's going to go here. This is the final, and it's going to be a very physical game.
That's right. You're not going to get those whistles that you're going to get in the second, third game of the season, because that's not how these referees want this game to be decided. This is a big-time championship matchup. Two fantastic teams, and, you know, they're not sitting this one out. Harry Birch, he's back out there. He's not sitting on the bench too long. This is not your ordinary game.
Bond reverses field. Headed along by Matt O'Brien. In the middle, and then steered away again by the Staples defense, which has had its moments. Been very solid thus far, as has the defense of Trumbull. And this is a scoreless game through nearly 16 minutes of action. Anthony Teixeira slips, and then the takeaway. Harry Birch was out, he's back in, and then back the other way. It's booted by Stratton, and now the whistle. You can see the fight for possession in this one really taking hold right now.
Oh, absolutely. Physicality is taking over. But I think one thing we're seeing now is the styles of both of these teams. They're very similar, and they're very defensive-oriented teams. But with that said, when they kind of get that window and they sense they can kind of push it up, that's what they need to do, because the goaltending and defense is so solid. If you don't try and capitalize on those mistakes, you may not get them again.
This is a neutral site, Fairfield-Ludlowe High School, for Staples and Trumbull. Big left foot from Teixeira into the box. It's loose, and finally steered away by the Staples defense. A very close call, and out come the Wreckers. It's on the foot of Steve Smith, their midfielder. Smith trying to get to midfield. Instead, it's taken away by Bond on the near side.
Well, Trumbull, they've had a couple of those key opportunities, a little squirms by the net. And once again, Andrew Stratton just missing that. But the more you get those chances, eventually something's going to go your way. For Staples, you got to kind of eliminate that now.
Staples, the three-time defending champions. 27 titles in all, 12 state championships. So if there's a team that has the pedigree and is the one to unseat, it's the Wreckers.
That's right, and you would think that they would have some sort of intimidation factor going, but I just don't see it. With Trumbull, you know, they're so good and they really feel like they belong on the same field as Staples, so I don't think the intimidation is there. I think these are two evenly matched teams. Either one could come away with a W.
Kicked into the middle. Teixeira knocked it down. Played back for Smith, and the block by Teixeira, who stayed with the play all the way. Teixeira commands so much attention In his spot is the offensive center midfielder for Trumbull. But here comes Staples, and the shot wide right. A nice job by Weinstein to hold his line.
He's looked very, very impressive so far. Nick Weinstein, it seems like his positioning is right on target every single time. But, you know, an encouraging play for Staples. They've had so many close calls on their other end. Kind of get an offensive chance. That's what it's about. But the shots, they're pretty close.
David Hoffman, terrific 1v1 player, showed why with that shot. Tried to send Bond, but that was knocked down by Ben Root.
Ben Root is an interesting player. He's kind of like the stopper of the Staples defense. And how about this one, Ed? Guy was born in England, right? 3 weeks old, been to 3 different countries in Europe. I've only been to 1 my entire life. What's going on here?
I take it you're in it right now.
Exactly.
We'll get you a passport.
Maybe that's the trick. But a seasoned traveler, my goodness.
Great soccer IQ for Ben Root. Here comes Staples. It was on the foot of number 16, Alex Tonsberg, but steered clear by the Trumbull defense. And the Wreckers reset on the near side. Malowitz. Burst of speed, stopped on a dime right there, and then chipped along. The header into the box, and Weinstein will scoop it up before Hoffman can make it interesting.
That's just great defense by Trumbull. Staples, you know, they try to set something up, but nothing's there, and that just speaks towards what Coach Gangemi kind of instills in this team, the defensive values. Kind of stay home, don't cheat, stay in your position, and, you know, they did all those.
Malowitz, the boot ahead, knocked down by Stratton. Give and go right there, and it goes a bit further to Bond, who works it to the outside. Bond, I think, is looking for a little more control here from his teammates. He's at times looked frustrated out there in the first 20 minutes.
Well, he's putting a lot of this on himself, as he should. I mean, when you're this kind of talent and this focal point of an offense, you should feel like you need to step it up a bit. But what's going to happen is they're going to start sending those double, triple teams, and he's going to have to give up the ball to his open teammate and leave it in their hands.
Now, we asked Sebastian Gangemi about that. We said, what has Bond seen this year? He said he's seen doubles, he's seen triples, and nothing's worked.
I got to tell you, we've been doing this for a while now. I've talked to quite a few coaches, and the way Coach spoke about Keith Bond, I thought it was hysterical. This guy to him is the top-notch soccer player, a coach's dream, he called him.
Oh, the takeaway, 4 white jerseys. Help steer that one away from Staples and their run. Malowitz, very active on defense and pushing up right now to keep it alive for the Wreckers. 21 minutes in, no score, and that's not a surprise between Trumbull and Staples. If one goal is scored before it becomes dawn, this could be surprising because these two so physical and so evenly matched.
And that's what it's all about, to evenly match. Coach Wogey told me during the week, he said, I would much rather win a game 1-0 than 5-4. We got some physical play.
Just saw it from Matt O'Brien and Harry Birch. He's having a tough game, and a yellow card has come out on Matt O'Brien. Birch and O'Brien.
He hit him pretty hard on this one. This one could not feel too good. He kind of clipped him as he was going by, and Birch is spending a lot of time down there. You like the physical style. This one, not his fault.
Birch left earlier due to a brief injury, came right back. Takes another hard hit. O'Brien, though, gets the yellow. So he's out, and a good chance here for Staples right now.
But for Matt O'Brien, he's got to be careful now. He's a key part of what they do. He scored the first goal against Darien in the semifinals. This is a big part of their team, and it kind of will take away some of his aggressiveness now, because one more and he's done.
Throw in coming for Staples. There's Liam O'Sullivan, the junior. Play to the outside for Tonsberg. Chipped into the box. Near side, it's picked up by O'Brien. Excuse me, he's still out of the game. That was Ben Schoenlieber, the senior who's taken his place, number 19 in white.
Again, Holberman getting down, sliding, knocking the ball out. Very physical Staples team.
Schoenlieber keeps it alive on the sideline, works it back. Great pressing here by Staples. David Hoffman, number 20 in blue, was all over it, and that's why the Wreckers stayed on that play throughout and kept it close for the defense of Trumbull.
Absolutely, and I think you touched upon it a little bit earlier. I think the unique part about both these teams, despite being so good, is that they wanted to play each other in this spot. They wanted to send a message once and for all of who's got the upper hand, and you just don't see that. I mean, do the Yankees want to play the Red Sox? I'm not sure, but these two teams, you know, that's what it's all about.
Bond had a big rush right there, and now they send him on the near side. Bond has some room. 1v1, he's got one man missed. Centers, and the shot, score! Keith Bond creates, and Trumbull cashes in. 1-0 Eagles, and it was Zach Chase who came through.
Absolutely, and I said it, Keith Bond, he continues to see that pressure, and they're sending the double teams, but he's just so good, you can't stop him, and finally finds a beautiful cross pass, hits Zach Chase, a scrappy player that picks up a lot of goals off situations like that. But Keith Bond, a beautiful assist, setting up his teammate, and a huge emotional lift for this Trumbull team.
First meeting, Bond didn't score. He had the assist, and you could see how he can change a game when the ball's on his foot.
That's a big one, especially in a game like this. The first goal is huge, and for Keith Bond, it doesn't necessarily mean scoring for them to have success. It's about getting his teammates involved, and that is a prime example, a beautiful play by the Golden Eagles.
Chase, 24 minutes in, 1-0 Trumbull here in the FCIAC championship. Chase, the junior, 5 goals this season. A guy, as you said, he comes in, he does his part, he finds the right opportunity, and he cashes in right there.
He's one of those scrappy players that every team needs. And once again, Nick Weinstein all over it, coming up with a little bit of a save.
So the number 2 seed in this FCIAC tournament right now has the edge against the 3-time defending champions. Keith Bond, the last 2 times down, he said, I need to take over. And the first time he was met by a host of defenders. That last time he found a seam. And right now Nick Weinstein doing his part in net, the junior, trying to hold his own. Ways to go, but for now, it's Trumbull in front.
That's right, for now. But for Staples, you know, you said it, at 3-time defending champs. They can handle this kind of thing. They're used to adversity. They played in a lot of close games this year, and this is nothing different. They've been behind, they've battled back. That's a tough-knit group. I'm sure they're playing the exact same as they did before.
This is Steve Smith. Off of Smith, throwing here for Trumbull. 25 and change gone by. Everybody bundled up, but that hasn't slowed him from coming out here in Fairfield. Ed Cohen, Shad Cutler along for the ride for the FCIAC Boys Championship. 1-0 Trumbull on the goal from Zach Chase, but that was just how it ended. It was all set up by Keith Bond, 14th assist here in 2011.
And that was one of the keys for Staples in this game. Coach Wolge told us you got to keep Keith Bond as far away from the goal as possible. They kept him at arm's length, but the bottom line is when he makes passes like that, there's nothing you can do. Such a gifted player.
Haven't spoke too much in recent minutes, at least, about James Hickok, the goalie for Staples, who's had a spectacular year, 11 shutouts. You won't get one today. Fact of the matter is, very few goalies could stand that pressure that Bond helped create.
That's true. Hickok, he played it well. There's really nothing you can do in those situations. And this is a guy that's received a lot of attention since he was a young kid. He's been noticed since 7th grade. That's when Coach Wolge first saw him playing at junior high. And he just kind of had that special ability. And he's continued to improve to this day.
Staples continues to apply the pressure. And the result is another corner kick. Their second of this contest. And it's going to be handled by Dylan Evans, the senior. He's known for his ability to cross, has the in-swing with the left foot, keeps it on the ground, rolls through, and rolls through everybody. It looked like it might tail out. Instead, it stayed inbounds. The good news for Trumbull, at least, is there was nobody to put it home.
That's one of those ones for Trumbull. Your heart kind of stops a little bit. That ball was just rolling right in front of the net. No one put a foot on it. A big, big break for Staples. Or for Trumbull, rather.
So we play on 1-0. The Golden Eagles of Trumbull High School. On the goal from Zach Chase in front in this championship. This will be a throw-in for Staples. The Wreckers with 12 wins on the season. Number 4 seed. They beat Greenwich 1-0 in the quarterfinals. No goals through regulation or overtime against New Canaan. It went to penalty kicks, and there Hickok stepped up with 2 brilliant saves and the victory to send them here to the final.
That's a good point. That was the first goal Hickok has allowed the entire FCIAC tournament. That should speak value for him. That's quite an accomplishment. They went up against some top-notch team with a lot of potent scores, and for him to hold his own is pretty impressive. And if you like his hair, he's never used a comb before. It's hard to believe as that sounds.
Gel's the way to go.
I guess whatever gets the job done.
Dylan Hoy, the junior forward, takes the spot of David Hoffman, so a change up front for Staples. Throwing here for the Wreckers. 14 of 18 games decided by 1 goal or less. You think they're battle-tested? How about that?
I think that proves it right there. This is not a team that's going to panic. Yes, they got some juniors and a junior goaltender, but they got a lot of experience under that belt, and that's what really helps you in these situations. And even if this game were in the second half now, Trumbull would still be feeling good, but Staples, they'd always have in the back of their mind, we can come back from any deficit.
Tim Johnson throws it in for Trumbull. And it's going to go back the other way. Staples will have a chance to insert it. 29 minutes in. Trumbull 1, Staples nothing on the goal from Zach Chase. Great ball control by Malowitz. Frees up the right side. That's Steve Smith. Splits 2 defenders. Smith gets it back now. Loose at the edge of the box, and now the whistle comes in and a foul called on Trumbull. And Tim Johnson cannot believe the call.
Well, this is high-quality soccer, and he tripped him. That should be a penalty, but you are seeing some high-quality soccer. The ball handling skills Staples just showed, remarkable.
Location is everything. And this one about a yard away from the box. Direct kick for Staples. Crowd has come out in full force for this FCIAC title game. The wall 10 yards away, and behind that is Nick Weinstein. The last time he stayed with the ball on the ground and made a spectacular save. Chip shot this time, wide left. Great chance for Staples, but they catch a break as that one off the foot of Steve Smith.
Well, Steve Smith, this is what he does. This is his specialty on this team, and he gets a good amount of leg on it. Just goes a little bit wide. Weinstein maybe got a hand on it, but Steve Smith, that is his role on this team. Excellent on the free kicks.
There was a deflection off, I believe, a Trumbull defender, so it's a corner kick right now for Staples. Takes a bounce, and then it's knocked beyond the end line, so they throw it back out, and Smith will try another.
It's like a do-over, another key opportunity for the Wreckers.
So Smith with the direct kick, the corner kick. Here comes one more. A little more loft this time to the backside, headed through. Staples ties the game at 1 on the corner kick. Smith worked it to the outside, and the Wreckers come through. Or do they? Wait. No. Offsides on Staples.
Wow, that one will deflate you right there. Staples just a little bit offsides. And we'll take a look at Steve Smith. We said it a minute ago. This is what he does best. A perfect corner kick. And yeah, I'd say he was a little offsides.
Looked like Taylor McNair, number 9.
Wow, I'll tell you though, for Staples, that felt so good, and then to have it taken away like that, there could be a bit of a lapse here.
Here comes Bond, beats 2 men, And then the whistle comes into play, and they're going to bring that one back out. He was out of bounds before he made his move.
Maintain your composure. That's got to be the message for the Wreckers now. You get one kind of taken away, but you got to stay positive. It was a key chance, and that just proves when you get those chances, you could go and take advantage of this Trumbull defense.
Big send ahead before it got to Max Hoberman, who was headed away. But here comes Smith. Very active the last few minutes. Give and go. Oh, great step in by Trumbull. That was Tim Johnson. Staples resets. Down 1-0 still after it appeared they tied it just a moment ago. Oh, the bicycle kick by Johnson to send it along. Tonsberg keeps it alive for Staples. Chip shot in the box and headed out by the Trumbull defense. Things really picking up now. And finally a whistle stops things. Bodies flying everywhere. The latest number 4 in Navy, Max Hoberman.
They're all going down, but that's what it's about. Staples now, they're kind of sensing they have some momentum going, trying to capitalize and maybe have figured out this Trumbull defense. But physicality, you bet this is what you expect in a championship game, and neither team disappointing.
Direct kick this time for Smith on the right side. Two-man wall 10 yards away. A lot of hook to the far side. And maybe too much hook. Long bounce out, and here comes Trumbull trying to send Bond in a 1v1 situation. Foot race. Bond gets there as he's met by Malowitz. Malowitz doing a great job to slow him down, and Bond just waiting for a call, won't get it.
That was terrific defense by the senior captain, Jake Malowitz, sticking with Mr. Bond, and that's what he does. Now, this is not an overly big kid by any stretch of the imagination, but he lets his play speak for him. He's done an excellent job on Bond throughout this game. He's been basically glued to his hip, forcing Keith to kind of do things he's not used to doing, making some slides, and he's been a big part of this game for Staples. If he has not played this well, it could be more than just a 1-0 deficit.
.34 and change gone by in the FCIAC title game. And Trumbull holding on to that 1-0 edge on the goal by Zach Chase. Keith Bond continues to jaw. And now a yellow card comes out. Anthony Teixeira was also involved, and Bond, I think, has had maybe too much of a conversation, and that's enough, say the officials.
And that appears to be right. He's been a little bit angry throughout the course of this game, and we'll see what he does here to earn the yellow. Kind of hip checked him. I think it was the reaction afterwards.
Yeah.
That kind of did that. You know, hip check's one thing, but he's been jawing a lot. He's got to tone it down a bit, keep those emotions in check.
Sebastian Ganjemi. Dan Wobe, the head coach of Staples. Both of those coaches with championships in their careers. Long send, offsides on Staples. And Trumbull will have a chance to reset. How about this? You have Malowitz going against Bond, and then Bond saying, where's that call?
Yeah, I was just complimenting Malowitz. He kind of held him a little bit, but now for Bond, that's part of the game. The referees are not going to see everything. As a player, as a star player, you got to know to just keep your composure and make them pay another way. Score a goal.
Great shot from our crew, Jeff Tart, Eric Singer, and everybody in the truck. 35 minutes gone by, still 1-0 Trumbull. Almost 1-1. But a shot that went through past Nick Weinstein was called back because of offsides with maybe an inch to spare on Taylor McNair.
That was big. You know, Staples had a chance, and I think we kind of see a different Wreckers team since Trumbull put that one on the board. I think that was kind of made them relax a little bit offensively. They look sound, they look comfortable. They're trying to set things up, and they had that one goal. It was taken back, but that's the kind of thing going into the halftime. Take a positive out of it.
Smith going up against Liam O'Sullivan. Trickles out. Matt O'Brien. Picked up a yellow card earlier. He's back in now. Keeps his balance. Played to O'Brien once again, and a little check right there from the very physical Harry Birch. How many times have we mentioned his name along with whistles?
That's right. Once again, Harry Birch sacrificing his body, sliding to the ground, and that's the kind of kid this is. You know, he's a hard-nosed kid, just wants to get those wins, get his team energized, and I'll tell you this much, he's done an excellent job in this first half.
Shea Neary lets it fly from midfield. Near the edge of the box and finally steered away. Big step up right there. And that was Taylor McNair, the quarterback of the Staples defense. Nice send along by Andrew Stratton. He's going to the outside. In the middle for Chase. Tripped over the ball. He is the lone goal thus far, number 5 in white. And now everyone called off by James Hickok, who's going to boot it away. Inside of 3 minutes. And keep in mind the time is in the hands of the officials. But by our estimate, about 2:40 to go. Bond has some room. Bond centers, loose in front. Goalie has no shot, and it jars loose again. O'Sullivan uses the big foot to score to make it 2-0 Trumbull.
That is absolutely well done by this Trumbull team, and once again it all starts with Keith Bond. He sucks up 3 Staples defenders his way, allows him to cross it again into the middle, and this is what Staples does. Once again, here's Bond, he does what he does, and you see those group of defenders, 3 of them converging, ball kind of sitting there in front, and kicks back out to a very fortunate Liam O'Sullivan. He's got a big leg, and I can promise you this one, you would dream about getting an opportunity like that. Comes right to him, strikes it. Trumbull, they got big-time momentum in their favor now.
O'Sullivan had the goal against Darien, part of a 3-1 win. He has the second goal right now for Trumbull. And the Eagles have the 2-0 lead with around 2 minutes to play in this first half of action. FCIAC Championship, it's on the line tonight here in Fairfield. And Tim Johnson getting back to stop the rush for Dylan Evans.
And I think we're really seeing now what Yale is going to be getting with Keith Bond. This kid is remarkably good. He just draws those defenders, because if you send one guy at him, he'll take care of it himself. It's tough to defend. And Staples, I actually think they're doing an excellent job on him.
Strategy pretty simple right now, especially after the yellow card. Get the ball to number 10 in white. And he's dragged down. This will lead to a direct kick for the Eagles.
It's not a bad strategy to have. I think any coach would take it, and now they're getting a little physical with Keith Bond sliding forward. Now, I could take that one. In my old playing days, that's no problem.
We'll nominate you along with Keith Bond for the Oscar next time. Stratton to the outside, and offside's called as the whole Staples defensive line pushed up quite a bit right there.
And they're trying to force the issue. And you know, for Staples, yes, you find yourself in a 2-goal deficit, not an ideal situation for any team. But they've had so much success in the past, they can kind of look at that, still feel good about their chances. To be completely honest, they have not played that poor of a half.
Bond met by 2 players. O'Brien tries to redirect his way, and it comes out to Chase. Harry Birch, number 5 in Navy. Oh, the big takeaway. He's been so involved so far, but we're in the final moments of the first half. Trumbull with goals from Zach Chase, along with Liam O'Sullivan. Bond set both of them up. And the number 2 seed, they were co-champs with Staples in 2006. They're trying to win it outright here in 2011. And through 40 minutes, they're on their way. Trumbull 2, Staples nothing at the break.
Well, they look good. They're up 2-0, and you know, momentum really swinging their way. But for Staples, this is a seasoned group, a team that can kind of build off this in the second half.
40 minutes in the books. Trumbull by 2 here in Connecticut. Halftime of this FCIAC boys soccer title game in Fairfield, Connecticut. And the boys from Trumbull in front of Staples by a 2-0 score. And here's how it all shook up in the first 40 minutes. Shots about even, 7-6 for Staples. Shots on goal again, one edge for Staples. The saves 4-1 because Nick Weinstein got things done for Trumbull. He was a very busy man, Chad, and he stepped up for the Golden Eagles.
He's looked exceptionally well. Nick Weinstein, he looks so comfortable out there. The big stage, not shaking him up, and comes up with a big save early on, sprawling to his left and making Trumbull get some momentum. But with that said, the offense would pick him up, and it all starts with that guy, Keith Bond. He sets everyone up, and Zach Chase, fortunate to get the nice cross, finishes it up. That put Trumbull on top 1-0. But Staples would answer, right? Or so they thought. They score here, but it's disallowed, an offsides penalty. That kind of deflated them a bit. And once again, Keith Bond setting things up. Little sprawl in front. Who's got the ball? Who's got the ball? Liam O'Sullivan comes up with a beautiful shot in the top right corner. Trumbull on top 2-0. They've looked very good at.
So close to having a Staples goal on that scoring summary. Instead, it's Chase in the 24th minute. O'Sullivan with just 2 minutes to spare in the first half. And Chase had the assist on that one. And through 40 minutes, 2-0 Trumbull over Staples. One of these teams, they'll be champions when the night is over here on MSG Varsity. High School Sports Desk now has dedicated regional coverage. You can watch 30 minutes dedicated to Long Island, New Jersey, New York City, or the Hudson Valley and Connecticut region. That's High School Sports Desk, and it's weeknights at 7 p.m. only on MSG Varsity, another Optimum exclusive. Keith Bond played such a big part in the first half for Trumbull. He has all year. The assist on the first goal helped create what would be the second. And as we get ready for the second half, Chad Cutler, 2-0 Trumbull Golden Eagles over the Staples Wreckers.
Well, they got to be feeling pretty good. And you would imagine Coach Gangemi told them at half, guys, you can't put your foot off the gas pedal. This Staples team, they're too good. They're too explosive. They got to get another one before you really start feeling comfortable. But for Staples, as I've said before, this is a confident group, a mentally tough group. And being down 2-0, it's not going to faze them. They're going to bring their A game throughout this half.
Shots just about even. Staples had one more in the first half, then Trumbull. Shots on goal, again, one more for Staples. We saw that at the break. So the offense was there for both sides, but it was Trumbull that took advantage of those key opportunities and kept that pressure on James Hickok.
That's right, and Hickok, you can't really feel too badly about either one of those. Those are classic example of beautiful cross passes from Bond, and those are the kind of things you got to keep staying positive, and they have to make sure that they don't give up that big number 3.
Trumbull 13-1-4 entering tonight. Staples 12-2-4. So along the way, they both had spectacular seasons. Staples the number 4 seed in this FCIAC tournament. Trumbull the number 2 seed. As it turns out, the number 1 seed, Norwalk, went down against New Canaan in an 8-versus-1 matchup in the quarterfinals.
That was a big shocker, and everyone thought after that that maybe this was new.
Here comes Chase, point blank on Hickok. Advantage the goalkeeper for Staples.
And that's what separates a top-notch goalie at James Hickok. He doesn't panic. He holds his ground, makes a gorgeous save right there. That would have been a big, big momentum swinger.
Well, second half is off and running. Not even 2 minutes in, and a huge opportunity for Staples. Or rather Trumbull, and it's the Staples goalie Hickok who comes through. Comes to the middle, Liam O'Sullivan has it taken away. Big send ahead. In pursuit. That's Hoffman. David Hoffman with a burst of speed. Angles towards the sideline, then works it out to Tonsberg. Oh, the Trumbull defense steps up. And out to midfield it goes for Zach Chase. Chase covering a lot of ground here in the first few minutes after halftime. He already has a goal and an assist, and he nearly had his second goal right off the bat this half.
Chase has played great. He's their first guy off the bench, and aside from coming up with that first goal of the game, he's looked comfortable out there. He looks like he's in a little bit of a rhythm, and I think Staples kind of have a hard time staying with him. He's very fast, a scrappy kind of player.
Work to Hoffman. Hoffman looking for some room. Now puts on the Jets. Oh, the takeaway. That was well played by John DeJesus. He's the captain back there for Trumbull. Haven't mentioned his name all that much. That's because Bond has electrified, and he works us to the left side. Trumbull with a chance, but that one steered out of bounds after that rush for the Golden Eagles. And they're calling for something. Look at Matt O'Brien, who is right in the mix.
This is a passionate team. You can see that, and they're starting to smell it. They feel like they have that special thing going on. And Matt O'Brien, we'll see what he's yapping about here. The foot. Maybe he said it wasn't off him.
Now the goal kick, handled by James Hickok. Staples has had the opportunities. At one point it appeared they cashed in to no avail. So we play on with Trumbull having the 2-0 lead. Shea Neary has quite a throw-in.
He does. That's what he does for this team. Ambidextrous. That's a skill that is dangerous to defend. Can use either leg. And now this is a kid that plays big-time club soccer on the South Central team. Someone that's always been involved in the sport, loves it. A very valuable piece to this Trumbull puzzle.
Who's going to get there, McNair or Chase? And McNair has the position. Chase, though, kept his balance. And now the whistle comes into play, and they're still going at it. And finally separated as they literally make their way to the line judge.
Zach Chase, he's like a little Energizer bunny down there, and he's got so much energy. And he's just in on everything, giving Staples more trouble than they could have ever anticipated. He is the second MVP so far.
Ruled out. He'll be headed up the road to New Haven. Keith Bond set to go to Yale. Terrific player, terrific season.
And a terrific
Trumbull.
Student.
That too.
The whole package.
They're getting a good one, the Bulldogs. There's Hickok. Loves the big stage, loves the pressure. Just a junior, second-year varsity starter. Made some great saves in last year's final to win the FCIAC title. That was against Fairfield Ward. There goes Bond. He's going 1v1 against Ben Root. Root trying to hold his ground. Bond waiting for some help. And Root holding his ground quite well, in fact. Bond lets it fly. That one buckling to the far side. Now Chase the other way and finally steered out of the box. Steve Smith plays it out. And Staples trying to get something going up the field. Each time it seems they're getting there, Trumbull steps up.
Trumbull's playing very well, but Staples, they play an interesting kind of style. They don't play like a set formation. They always have three in the back, but they're very well trusted. They're allowed to push up and play some more midfield when they want to, and this might be one of those situations. There's another offsides where Staples kind of pushes the envelope, tries to get more pressure on Nick Weinstein.
Could lead to more of that as well. Chase was not just offsides, he was another town over.
He was a little bit offsides, but you like where his head's at. He wants to get ahead.
Work back, and Matt O'Brien was there to knock it out. So Staples trailing 2-0, trying to get something going here. It's been Trumbull that's had the early advantages here in the second half, and a point-blank opportunity. Chase was there, and Hickok made the save. Smith near side. He works it out to Dylan Evans. Evans makes a nice move as he escapes trouble. Now in the middle for Matt O'Brien. He turned on that one all so quickly. The aggressive 6-footer at midfield.
I like Matt O'Brien. And this is a kid that loves soccer throughout the summer. Played at West Point in the offseason. Really honed in on his skills. And it's been no secret this year. As soon as he came in and they started training and practicing, Coach knew right away this was an improved player, a kid that mentally had that edge on the field.
Oh, nice header. Into the box. Chance for Dylan Hoy, but on the ground, it was Nick Weinstein who stayed with the play.
Weinstein just trying to stay active. That's the first time he's touched the ball in a while. It's important for him to stay sharp, though, because I can promise the Wreckers, they're going to be coming soon.
Bond was draped all over Jake Malowitz. He was like a jacket out there.
Well, Bond, again, you know, he can really do it all, both offensively and defensively if they need. But you could see right now, no question about it. Harry Birch, we've mentioned his name a couple times. He's going to keep Bond a little bit of anger there. He's frustrating him.
Trying to take him out of the game. The fact is he's been involved in the 2 biggest goals of this game.
That's true. And he's a tough guy to take out of a game. So good. But Harry Birch sacrificed his body. He's another one of those scrappy players. He looks good out there.
At midfield, Birch trips up O'Sullivan, who doesn't go down. And now they play it back to Hickok, and a little chip shot ahead. See Liam O'Sullivan, very active. He's scored already for Trumbull. Stratton plays it ahead on the bounce. Bond with a little nudge, and Malowitz stays with it. Boy, Malowitz and Bond getting to know each other quite well in this one. Here's Chase, trying to turn the corner. Nothing doing right there. Great defense by Taylor McNair. Get real physical out there, and they play on. Now the touch into the box. Offsides, though, as it's scooped up by Hickok.
They are lucky that was an offsides, because Keith Bond right there almost had a wide open crack at the net. And I'll tell you this, I said at the beginning, Trumbull's got to keep their foot on the gas pedal. They're doing just that. This is a team that offensively wants to put this game out of hand, and they look good. They're trying to set things up, but unfortunately for Keith, a bit offsides.
There's Matt O'Brien. You should wish his brother Chris, his older brother, the best. He was in a swimming accident recently, broke his neck, and now going through a couple of months of rehab. So all the best to Chris O'Brien and his brother, for now at least, doing his part. Trumbull up 2-0 as we played 50 minutes here in Connecticut.
Well, it's got to be a little escape for him emotionally when he's out there on the field in a big game like this. And you know, he's played well. The team has played well behind him.
Another throw in here for Trumbull. It was Zach Chase in the 24th minute. Made it 1-0. Liam O'Sullivan with just 2 minutes to go in the first half. 38th minute, the big kick into the back right corner. That's where we stand now. 2-0 Golden Eagles, number 2 seed here in this FCIAC tournament. Line throwing, nearly got by the defense. Trumbull went through a light practice yesterday. That was Thursday. Their coach, Sebastian Gangemi, said, I don't want to tire him right now. How about this? Most coaches, a game like this, they want to talk about how important it is. They want their guys to be focused. He just said, it's a beautiful thing. No coach speak.
You got to love it. He's a unique personality, a true lover of the sport of soccer. This is a guy that grew up in Italy, came here, I believe, in 1970s, and you know, ever since then, he's been a huge part about teaching soccer, and you know, he loves this group. He called them unique. He said this is really kind of special team that you always wish you have as a coach, and you know, they love him. It's kind of a give and take relationship, and they look good out there.
Another foul call, this one against Trumbull. Or rather Staples, and Trumbull will have a chance to move it along right now.
Hey, only two. Go.
Here's Keith Bond. First meeting, had the assist on the lone goal in a 1-1 tie. Described as having an awesome game. He could change it just with his presence. Direct kick into the box. And a kick right back out by David Hoffman. Staples looking to accelerate up the field. And now they have something going as it's centered in the middle. Trumbull gets right back and they slow down. Terrence Gibbons, number 7 in Navy. As good as it looked a moment ago, The team in white steers it clear with that great speed to get back on defense.
It's got to be a bit frustrating now for Staples. They're spending so much time in their defensive zone. They're finally trying to break through, get an offensive chance, and once again, Trumbull, they're all over them. Their defensive presence throughout this game has been remarkable.
Bond with some room. He's beaten one man, and he couldn't beat the second. Ben Root, who so far has held his own when he's been matched up against Bond, comes through with the kick.
Ben Root kind of like the stopper in this system and comes up with a big play right there. This is a guy that last year, he was kind of low on the depth chart, had to earn his way out there, and as soon as coach saw what he could bring to the table, it's been tough to get him off the field. This is a scrappy player, a good player, and he's looked good.
Loved his performance against Norwalk September 30th. It was a 2-2 tie. Could have been worse if not for Root. Sent ahead by Alex Tonsberg. In the middle, and then the header towards the box. Out comes Weinstein before he's met by Terrence Gibbons.
Once again, Nick Weinstein, staying composed. He looks so comfortable out there, and with 25 minutes to go, he's got no reason not to look comfortable. He's been special. He's been tested, and he's come out with a flawless score thus far.
In the middle, it rolls out a bit. Ben Schoenlieber works it back. And now the send forward, O'Brien in pursuit, but Hickok comes off his line to scoop it up.
And for Staples, this is when players like number 9, Taylor McNair, need to step things up. This is their center back, the senior, kind of leads the defense. He's got to rally the troops and say, guys, listen, we got 25 minutes to go. Let's get it out of our zone and leave it to our offense to get on the board.
Bond on the far side. Hasn't been able to get by Root the last 2 times down. And Root doing his job, just staying with Bond, which is not easy in a 1v1 situation.
Now, Root has accepted the challenge. And some guys can really rise to these occasions and look forward to playing the top-notch players. And Root's looked extraordinarily good out there. He's looked comfortable. And for Staples, that's a positive.
Let's take a look at the top 10 in our MSG varsity poll in Connecticut. Trumbull, number 1 right now with the 12 wins. Staples, number 4, 11-2-4 with Bunnell and Darien right in between those two.
Well, I think you're getting a sense of why Trumbull holds that top position. This team has looked extremely well. And, I don't really know much about Bunnell, but my goodness, Trumbull can play.
Tops for now in the Nutmeg State. Here's a throw-in. Knocked away, kicked right back towards the box. Not a lot of room to spare the way Trumbull spaces defensively. And just about everybody back except for Keith Bond. Which way is it going? It's a corner kick coming up for Staples. They haven't had too many big chances here in the second half. Maybe one brewing here with 24 and change remaining.
They needed it. For Staples, these are one of those opportunities. Steve Smith, this is why they have him. They need him more than ever in this spot.
They'll have the in-swing here. Smith lets it fly. Looks good. Near side, and it's knocked away. Look like a couple of white jerseys just turned their back on it. And now Liam O'Sullivan trying to steer it clear, but it goes beyond the end line off of David Hoffman and leads to a goal kick for Trumbull.
It was good execution by Steve Smith. He did what he wanted to do. He put it in the right spot, but once again, Trumbull, they converge to the middle, and they make a great, great play.
Staples records, 3 consecutive FCIAC titles from 2008 to 2010. Co-champs with Trumbull. And 2006, look at this, Chad, 12 state titles for that school from Westport, Connecticut.
It's pretty good. I think they're satisfied with that. A lot of history here, a terrific soccer program for Staples. It's never about reloading. They lost a lot of players from last year, but they still always manage to find a way to be in that conversation of a top-notch team.
Great news is they've had someone who's been able to literally capture the story. Their head coach, Dan Wogue, is a freelance writer. He's written 15 books, 4 on soccer, and 1 on the history of Staples High School. He graduated in 1971.
He's a big part of this community, a guy that's still involved in the school. He works in the yearbook club and always tries to stay involved as much as possible. These kids, they respect him. It's a big part about what Staples is all about.
Look at Liam O'Sullivan on the takeaway. He was taken right back by Ben Root, who's having himself quite a second half back on defense. Staples has possession, but they're also trailing 2-0. The goals in the first half from Zach Chase, followed by Liam O'Sullivan late in the first half. That's why Trumbull is less than 22 minutes away from winning the FCIAC title and ending the run for Staples that we just saw. Malowitz keeps it on the ground, and nothing doing as it got to Terrence Gibbons for a moment.
Well, now Staples is starting to make the extra pressure on the offensive end. They're sending just about everybody. They're leaving Taylor McNair back, and that's what they got to do now. They have to force the issue. Yes, 20 minutes is a lot of time. There's no question about it, but you got to cut it to 1.
And look at the run in recent years for Staples. 3 in a row, and then the one in 2006. It ended up in that 2-all tie. There was no penalty kick round for Trumbull and Staples.
It's remarkable. I mean, 3 in a row. 1 is tough enough to get 3 in a row. Incredible. And going back to 06 now, that's still fresh in some of these players' minds. But Staples, incredible program.
Throw into the box. Finally steered clear by the Trumbull defense, at least at first. And another big shot opportunity knocked away. That was to Shara, number 9 in white, who stepped up before the big wind and fire. Nice play. Gibbons made his way in the box, and then it goes wide. Worked out though. Tonsberg got by 2 defenders, but then it's scooped up by Nick Weinstein, who faced a couple of chances right there.
Well, Weinstein, he maintained his ground, but Tonsberg trying to kind of make something happen. He was surrounded. It was good defense. I like Alex Tonsberg. He brings a lot of the essentials to what it means to be a good offensive player. Not to mention the biggest surprise on this Staples team this year really came out of nowhere and has become an excellent player.
Malowitz, and then on the touch ahead, finally worked back by the Trumbull defense. And the big foot of Stratton, who can also get back there. He's one who usually plays up front. But Andrew Stratton, so big, 6'3", certainly can dictate in the box. And out comes Weinstein once again. He's been very active and very aware here tonight.
He's been active, but the shots haven't really been there. And Kyle Martino there, a former Major League Soccer player, an alumni of Staples, 99 high school player of the year. That's pretty good. And Manaya McCoskey, women's professional player, Trumbull grad. These schools rich in tradition.
That hit the football crossbar, I believe. Oh my. Big chance for Trumbull, as we were talking about the past greats at both of these high schools. And that was Anthony Teixeira, who was saying, how close can I get?
Now, they must have heard us. They wanted to say, we can do this now. We have an opportunity. Anthony Teixeira, a wicked foot, just hits off the field goal post. That's going to be no good.
In either sport. Good drum beat, though.
My goodness. Thought we had an earthquake here.
Over 60 minutes gone by. Still 2-0 Trumbull. FCIAC championship game. Fairfield-Ludlowe High School is our host tonight. Ed Cohen, Chad Cutler with you here from the Nutmeg State. Chilly night. It's been a physical game from the start. A couple of yellow cards issued in the first half. But the story, Trumbull able to capitalize in a game where there have been numerous chances. And no surprise, Keith Bond, the star in this county, and the star for Trumbull, has been involved in both. The assist on the first, and his presence helped set up the second. That was Liam O'Sullivan in the 38th minute.
The defense right now from Trumbull, it's so good. They're just attacking the ball. Staples isn't really getting a chance to set anything up. They look very good.
Far side, it escaped the foot of Max Hoberman. And a key kick in the penalty kick round in the semis that lifted Staples over New Canaan and here to the final. Ben Root steps up. Joe Greenwald, number 21 in Navy, seeing some time right now. Look at Malowitz, number 14, staying alive as he was knocked down. And there he is right now in some pain. Jake Malowitz has been so involved here tonight.
Well, that'll be a big loss if he's hurt. We'll see what happened to him. Jake has had such a good game and kind of got tangled up. Maybe he took an elbow, something. Not really sure what happened. But he's played a terrific game for this Staples team, and you hope he's back, the senior captain.
So Malowitz is down. The crowds from both sides. The Trumbull fans making the trip here to Fairfield, and Staples, the school from Westport, will step aside. From Connecticut, Trumbull in front. Always good to see. Jake Malowitz, in this case, is up on his feet, a little shaken up. He's been a real trooper here tonight, one of the captains for Staples. Ed Cohn and Chad Cutler are with you from Fairfield-Ludlowe High School in Connecticut. This the championship game in FCIAC boys soccer. Harry Birch, who was knocked out earlier in this game, is now taking the spot of Jake Malowitz, who needs to catch a break on the sideline.
Two very formidable players, and now we've entered that crunch time for Staples. You got 16 and change to go. This is when you really got to push the envelope, take some chances, anything to get scoring opportunities.
Staples, winners of 3 consecutive FCIAC titles. Trumbull, they're knocking on the doorstep. They want the hardware, and they're less than 16 and a half minutes away. Plenty of soccer left. But Staples, they need to bring it, and fast. Trumbull has never won an outright FCIAC title. Played near side. That's where Dylan Hoy takes control. Hoy going outside now. Tim Johnson stays with him. And Johnson made it very hard for Hoy to get something going right there. It's going to be a goal kick coming up for Trumbull.
Well, this is one of those opportunities where you need to sacrifice your body, and Tim Johnson does just that. He realizes the magnitude of this situation. You got to keep Staples off the board. And, he went in there, he lowered his shoulder. He wasn't taking anything but the ball away.
Small but quick. It's a good combination.
And tough. He proved it there.
Near side again for Hoy. John DeJesus now out to stop him. Centers, and Weinstein steps up. Looked like Weinstein might have been covered for just a moment, but he was able to see that ball coming in at the last moment.
I'll tell you, Ed, as this game has gone on, I've become more and more impressed with the play of the junior Nick Weinstein. This kid, he just seems to be in that right position every single time. He's got that idea of where to stand, and you could just see him. He's vocalizing with the D as another player down on the field.
This time it's one for Trumbull. And again, they're going to stop things as this game for the championship. And no surprise, it's been very physical. Still trying to get a read on who's down for Trumbull right now as they bring out the trainers. That's Tim Johnson, the man we just talked about a moment ago.
Well, we said it, a physical kid, not the biggest in size, but he probably sacrificed his body there. Hopefully he's okay.
Tim Johnson, you're attending to him right now on the field. Trumbull with the 2-0 lead. FCIAC championship game, Fairfield, Connecticut, here on MSG Varsity. Tough's the right word to describe Tim Johnson. Needs some help to get off the field right now. He's been so involved the last few minutes on defense, trying to keep this a 2-0 lead for Trumbull.
He's done his job. Tim Johnson has played very, very well. As Manny Manny Perriero will come in, and now that's the kind of guy you need. But Manny, pretty solid. You know, he brings some speed to the table. That's what they need now. Defensively, they need some fresh legs, and you can only hope for Trumbull's sake that Manny can give him a spark.
Nearly 65 minutes gone by. Here in the second half, nearly 25 minutes. He's scoring in the 24th minute, courtesy of Zach Chase. 38th minute, Liam O'Sullivan. 2-0 Trumbull. Ed Cohen, Chad Cutler with you here on MSG Varsity. What's at stake? Well, the FCIAC championship in boys soccer. And for Trumbull, a chance to end the run of Staples. They've won 3 in a row. But right now they have 15 minutes and a little bit left, trying to come back.
Well, you get the sense that Staples is not going to go down easy. They got a couple flurries left in them here in this 14 minutes to go. That's a good team. You know, they've been around their season. They can handle this kind of thing.
Good comeback. Stratton. Big presence up front. And we're starting to see him in a more defensive role right now, trying to preserve the 2-goal edge. Taylor McNair with the header at midfield. Hoy comes back to it, and now near side for Alex Tonsberg. Haven't mentioned Keith Bond's name all that much the last few minutes. Into the box, Weinstein. That one took a big hop on him. Had to backpedal a step or two, but he's there to scoop it up.
And he had to retreat a little bit. That took a very high bounce, and that would have been something. But once again, Nick Weinstein able to come up with the play. And this is one of those ones, a little tricky, not sure where to stand, and he was all over.
At midfield, far side, that's where Teixeira sends it along. Liam O'Sullivan gives chase, and Ben Root's going to beat him in that foot race by a healthy margin. Don't see Keith Bond out there right now. And there he is stretching out. It'd be the calf for the star player for Trumbull.
May have a knot there, maybe a little cramp, something like that. But with 13 minutes to go, you would expect him to kind of get back on the field.
Chip ahead, in pursuit is Max Hoberman. And Hoberman stopped in his tracks before O'Brien comes back to kick it out. And we've seen Trumbull, even with this lead, having trouble applying the pressure without Bond on the field. And that's what they lose right now. Even up 2-0, it's Staples, that's the aggressor.
That's right. And in addition to losing a very good player in Bond, you lose a big-time leader, a guy that's going to be out there kind of telling you where to stand and keeping you into it. But bottom line right now, Staples, they're trying to push the envelope, trying to get something going, and you gotta believe they're gonna get a nice shot off at some point.
Tonsberg very patient as he works it back to Dylan Hoy. Going far side, inside the 18 was Hoberman, and it never got to him. And finally steered clear by the Trumbull defense, which has been on its toes and has stayed afoot here tonight.
They have, and as you see now, Taylor McNair, the only defenseman back for Staples, so they are going all out with the pressure, and that's what they got to do. You got 12 minutes left, set something up.
At midfield, it comes out to Liam O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan looking for some space, and usually looking for Bond, but he's not out there.
Now he was looking for a sidekick on that, but this is not what you want to see if you're the Wreckers. That's a nice slide and play.
They say off of Trumbull. It was touched by Ben Schoenlieber. Tonsberg very involved the last couple of minutes. Good ball control by Smith along the near side. Wrapped up by two white jerseys, so Tonsberg boots it ahead. 68 plus minutes into this championship. And Trumbull, they've had the 2-0 lead since the 38th minute. And this, you figure the pressure's only going to intensify if you're Staples, knowing that long run is on the verge of being history if they can't come back into this game and fast.
This is one of those situations with those little butterflies that they can start creeping into your stomach, but you got to go past that. You got to persevere in these things and just take one at a time, because if you think about it, when you're on the field, you get one goal, all of a sudden it's a one-goal game, and that can happen at any moment. So just cut it in half.
O'Sullivan gives chase. McNair back to stop him. O'Sullivan makes one move, and before he can make another, there's Ben Root to stop him.
Seems like we're mentioning Ben Root's name an incredible amount. This guy has played a great game back there for Staples. True leader for them, works very well with Taylor McNair, and their defense throughout this season has done an excellent job.
Good news for Trumbull. Tim Johnson, who was knocked down earlier, he's come back in. He's taken the spot of Ben Schoenlieber. So Trumbull, it was just last year, quarterfinals, FCIAC tournament, falling to Staples. They knew they had a great team coming back. They had a star player, and they're up 2-0. And there's about 10 to go. But here comes Staples, the Wreckers, trying to get something going. And that was Dylan Evans with the big burst of speed. And now they're throwing for the Wreckers. Evans will take another stab at it. Works it back to Tonsberg. Johnson just toes it along. Just came back in, and he sends Staples running.
Well, to say Trumbull has a stingy defense might be an understatement. The way they see the ball out there, just the movements they make, they're so in sync. They know where each other are standing on that field, and it's like watching an orchestra out there when the ball's on that side of the field.
We'll do our best to be the soundtrack.
You want me to sing a little bit, Anna? I got some vocals.
After the game?
After the game. That's probably a good call.
Off the air? Ed Cohen, Chad Cutler. 71 minutes gone by. Still 2-0 Trumbull. Here the FCIAC Boys Soccer Championship game. This is Tonsberg for Staples. Play to the top, on the ground, and Weinstein, he has really seen the ball well from all angles tonight, just lets it roll out.
I think they're getting a bit intimidated now. They're getting a little bit frustrated, and it's really a combination of the Trumbull defense and the movement of Nick Weinstein. He seems to be in the right position throughout this game, and even when they had that goal that was disallowed due to the offsides, that wasn't his fault. He's been very solid.
Such a close one here tonight. Staples has had the chances. In fact, they've had a few more than Trumbull. But it's been the Eagles that have cashed in at the right moments.
First and second half, it's been a completely different type of style. First half, it was wide open. They were going back and forth, and you saw Trumbull capitalize on their opportunities. In the second half, it's been a defensive clampdown for the Golden Eagles. That's what they focused on, and for Staples, they're trying to produce something, but when you got a defense this good, it's easier said than done.
A scoreless game through regulation, maybe even a few overtimes. That wouldn't have surprised us. It wouldn't have surprised the coaches, given the matchup here tonight.
That's true. I honestly, seeing 2 goals, it's a bit surprising. You would expect this to be a 1-0 game or maybe a 1-1 game, but you got to tip your cap to Trumbull. This is a well-coached team. They came in very prepared. You said it just yesterday. They had a little bit of a practice, but for the most part, didn't overdo it. They looked fresh, and they looked very confident.
Everyone on side. Trumbull trying to add to it. Here's O'Sullivan. Soft touch in the box. And finally steered away by Taylor McNair. Staples, we figure 7 minutes to go by our time. Down 2 goals. And here comes the energetic Dylan Evans. He slipped in his route to the ball, but he'll have it thrown.
Well, Dylan Evans, a guy that, according to coach, has a flair for the dramatic goals, and they could use one of those now. He said he's one of those guys that always comes up in those key opportunities, and I think this would apply as one of those chances.
Turn and fire from Smith. Weinstein makes the play on the ball, then absorbs a little contact at the end.
But you see, maintains his composure, doesn't phase him, directing his defense where he wants him to go. Very impressed with him. Splitting time or not, this kid can play.
Liam O'Sullivan, you think about the amount of time that Bond hasn't been out there in the second half. So active up front, trying to keep the pressure on and make it tough for this defense, trailing 2-0.
Absolutely, and if you think about Bond, he's one of the strikers, and he's one of the guys they rely on more offensively. In a situation like this, Trumbull has dropped back. They're playing a defensive style of soccer, so Bond becomes a little less valuable.
Trying to stretch it out. Looks like that calf's still a problem.
You feel for him too, because you know he wants to be out there in this spot. 5 minutes to go.
He's been running around for 18 games here in the 19th game. And in the second half, ramping up. Now his team does have a 2-0 lead, and they have held it in check since he's gone out. James Hickok, what a year. What a postseason.
And what a treat for Staples that he's going to be back next year again, just a junior.
We talked about Bond going to Yale. Hickok could be making the D1 ranks as well. John DeJesus, big step up. Slow down the speedy Dylan Evans on that left side.
Well, this is a guy in Dylan Evans that in years past kind of been injury plagued. His sophomore, junior seasons, had some knee problems. This year seems to have gotten everything in check in terms of health, and he's looked good. He's quick. You said he could get off that quick strike and score some goals. A big part of this Staples offense.
Goal kick here for Weinstein and the Golden Eagles. And time is running out on the Staples season, at least in FCIAC play. Matt O'Brien, great ball control. And the boot ahead. McNair chases back. In pursuit, Nick Talamelli off the bench for Trumbull.
That's a heads-up play by Taylor McNair, realizing that you can't take that yourself. Give it to your goaltender, have him take control. That's heads up. That's what you'd expect from one of your leaders.
And McNair, the senior, not flashy, but efficient. We've seen a very steady number 9 in blue in this championship game.
And a good kid, too. He organized the Kick for Nick. It's a community service thing. They send used soccer balls. They'll deflate them, ship them over to Afghanistan for the soldiers to play with. And that's all him. You know, he started that. Great kid, a great purpose, great cause.
Awesome stuff. Makes it fun to call games like this.
Absolutely.
3.5 to go. The time is our estimate. It's in the hands of the officials. And as strong a second half as Taylor McNair and the Staples defense has played, they have not been able to get their first goal, let alone the equalizer. Still 2-0 Trumbull.
Now they have not been able to crack the Trumbull defense, and more importantly, Nick Weinstein. Once again, you can't speak enough about the kind of game this kid has had in net for Trumbull. He's looked good, and you know, as a junior, that's one of those things you don't know how he's going to react. And this is the biggest game of his career, and I'm sure so far it's been pretty memorable.
The energy's building. This crowd that has come to cheer on Trumbull. They split the championship in 2006. No penalty kicks in that one. So they said after 100 minutes, great game, great championship. But Trumbull trying to stand tall and stand alone. And right now they're less than 3 minutes away from doing that. 2-0 over Staples. Here in the championship game, FCIAC boys soccer. Foul about 20 yards out, so a direct kick right now coming for Staples. It looked like they had tied this game in the first half, but it was called back, and that opened the door for Trumbull to make it a 2-0 game.
You kind of had a feeling at that time that that was going to come back and get them, and sure enough.
Chip shot, wide left off the foot of Steve Smith. And Weinstein stayed with that ball as it sailed wide.
Again, though, for Steve Smith, that is his specialty. He's got a very nice shot, and you know, he was due. He hasn't scored. He's only had one free kick goal on the year, but you know, his confidence, it never seems to hurt. And you said it, Weinstein again all over it.
2 junior goalkeepers. Imagine what they have in store for next year. Johnson lets it roll out. And the fans from Trumbull, they can sense it. The players put in quite a year. Each one plays year-round against a Staples team that has known winning the last 3 years. They've won 3 consecutive FCIAC titles. And time closing out on the run in Fairfield County. 13 wins for Trumbull coming in on the verge of the 14th, and that'll be the sweetest. Head coach Sebastian Gangemi, 7 years. Came over from Italy. He's been in the U.S. since 1970. Said this game was a beautiful thing, and it's soon to be a very beautiful feeling for those with Trumbull.
Oh yeah, he's been waiting for this for a long time, and sure, the 2006 one being co-champs, that felt great. I'm sure it was a great feeling, but you know, to get it all by yourself and not have that co attached to the champ, that's what it's all about. And for Trumbull, they truly deserve it with the way they played here tonight.
Fans from Trumbull getting ready to celebrate an FCIAC championship. The horns are going. A team that entered this tournament as the #2 seed. Wins against Wilton in the quarters, Darien in the semis. And here in the final, they're moments away from unseating the 3-time defending champions. Staples' run will come to an end tonight, and the school from Trumbull, Connecticut is going to have its title. Not just a title, but one all alone. The Golden Eagles, they have reason to celebrate. They are the champions in the FCIAC in 2011.
And you could see the excitement by this team. Nick Weinstein jumping for joy for Trumbull. They got to feel so good. They got over that hurdle. And to beat the 3-time defending champion, it's got to make it that much sweeter.
Meet the champs here in 2011. Oh, Trumbull came in, they came in ready. Took advantage in the 24th minute. And then it was the 38th minute. Liam O'Sullivan made it 2-0. And as it turned out, that was all they needed. The black and gold victorious here tonight against Staples. And we'll talk to the champs when we come back here in Connecticut on MSG Varsity. Championship night in Connecticut. The winners in the FCIAC Boys Soccer Tournament, the Trumbull Golden Eagles. 2-0 over Staples here tonight. And Chad Cutler down on the sideline with more.
Here with Zach Chase. Zach, describe the feeling right now. What's this like?
I'm ecstatic right now. This is I see this as the greatest game of my life so far. And felt great just getting that first goal. I guess that could be one of the moments of my life.
You mentioned that first goal. Take us back to that play now. How did that whole thing go down?
In my mind, it's always, you know, Keith goes up the line and just get in the box and get the cross and get it in. And that's what I did.
Zach, to get this win and knock off the 3-time defending FCIAC champ Staples, does it make it that much better?
When you put that in perspective, I think it does make it a little bit better. But I was only focused on this game specifically. I have some good friends on that team too, and I was just happy to have a great game. That's all.
Your teammate, Mr. Bond, played pretty well, responsible for the assists on the 2 goals. What does he mean for this team's success?
He's a guy that we can all look up to, and you know, joke around with, and have a great time with.
Off a 3-1 semifinal victory, how much did you believe that this championship was going to be yours?
100%. We thought, the whole team thought we had it. We knew it.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Ed, Trumbull, victorious.
They certainly were, Chad, and Zach Chase playing a big part of it. The goal, the assist, and Trumbull, the win. And the faithful making the trip to Fairfield, they had plenty to cheer about. Golden Eagles, champions all alone in 2011 of the FCIAC Boys Soccer Tournament. This was a physical one, but it was Trumbull that stepped up and came through in the end. This has been a presentation of MSG Varsity. It's only on Optimum. For more high school sports and information, log on to msgvarsity.com. Good night from Connecticut.